Oh, we're back. What a trip indeed. What an absolute trip. It was really good. But I am still absolutely shattered from it. Absolutely shattered. I got back home yesterday for travelling back up on the train from Heathrow. I think I just slept through, but even now I'm still a bit tired. Oh, but yes, good morning all. Like I say, I hope you're all doing well, and that you're all doing fine. Because, like I say, I'm still a bit tired, but no, I'll be getting back to it. Like I say, normal service will be resumed today. Dave W, good morning to you. Like I say, normal service will be resumed from today. One Angry Pagan, good morning to you. Yeah, nothing much happened while I was away. I know. It looks like I haven't continued that curse streak now of the government would just collapse while I was away. Halting from Bucharest to Barnsley, not a well-trodden path. Oh, but no, Bucharest was honestly amazing. Absolutely amazing place. And we got to go on a castle tour. So we got to see Bran Castle, which is obviously, associated a lot with Vlad Tepes, aka, pretty much the inspiration for Dracula. So that was really cool to see. And we got to see a couple of other, two of the famous castles out there as well. We're going to see, what's his name now? The royalist, the first royal. Not Carlos. Was it Ferdinand? I can't remember. But yes, we're going to see a couple of sort of really good castles, really good places like that. Really cool place to go and see. Lots of really good architecture. I like seeing all that, the kind of stuff. Got to experience the different sort of atmosphere and all that going on as well. So that was really cool. Going to try some amazing food while I was out there as well. Although I don't know what it was. I don't know if this is just maybe it's a Romanian thing. But so much pork. So much pork. Which wasn't a bad thing. It was all amazing. All the food out there we had was amazing. But yeah, I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat pork for a while now. But yes, like I say, one of my predictions, obviously, I think is probably not going to come true. I think, and that is, of course, Braverman. So the last time I think they sort of checked and updated on this was that Braverman had now been referred to the Commons Ethics Committee inquiry. Vlad's castle is amazing. Did you visit Ceausescu's palace? I don't know. Well, we went for the actual gala dinner for the event was actually in the Romanian Parliament, so maybe that might have been it. I'm not sure. But no, I don't think we did go to see it. No, I don't think we did, but yes. Yes, that was it. Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, we did. Like I say, that's where the gala dinner was. So it was a really impressive venue, actually, inside. Really impressive. Although, having a gala dinner in such a place covered in that type of stone, a very bad idea for the acoustics. because we were sort of, they separated us into 2 separate rooms, because I think there was like over 1,000 of us there at the gala dinner. And yeah, it was really weird. It was somewhat difficult to try and hear sometimes, because we were there was us, Scotland and Ireland. We were put like the back of the second room, you know, the troublemakers. So yeah, we were put at sort of the back of the room, and yeah, we had a good time, really good time, to be honest. Definitely a place I would recommend going back to, and definitely recommend Bucharest for a city break as well, if you're ever going to go there. Old Town is very good. We went to the old beer hall, which again, incredible place inside, absolutely incredible place inside. It's had some amazing food there as well. So definitely worth a visit. But yeah, that was my sort of big trip to Romania, really. So yeah, like I say, because I've been very, very busy while I've been out there, I haven't been able to sort of keep up as much as I normally would do, because most of it I've been in meetings, so I've been catching up, you know, here and there where I can. So I do probably know I've probably missed a couple of things here and there. I know there's the whole Boris Johnson is trying to limit at least what the COVID inquiry can have access to in terms of like his personal diaries and WhatsApp messages. So there's that, which I think would probably be really unprecedented if it managed to get through. But we'll keep an eye on that, that's for certain. But as we've said before, any of this, Tilly Dakota, good morning to you. Labour making policy, again, like I say, unfortunately I've missed a lot, because I've been, well, like I say, I've been out sort of representing the UK, as you saw, with my, you know, fantastic Union Jack jacket. Of course, that's the whole thing about the opening ceremony. Sort of all the countries get to, you know, go out and, you know, get to wave your flag as sort of national president on the stage. So that was pretty cool to go and do. So yeah, it's not very often you can say you get to do that. Climate change policy, right? Well, I'll go and have a look-see at that when I get back. That's for sure. Oh dear, excuse me, I'm still tired. Oh, I'm still very tired though. Yeah. So that's the one thing about the whole conference. There were 2 nights where it was free bar, and then you just realise how cheap sort of the food and drink in Romania is, and you're like, ooh. So I went a bit heavy on a couple of nights, I will admit, but yeah, it was a very good time. I had a very good time. So part of this is probably, you know, very much self-inflicted. I will not deny that. Oh. But yeah, back to the COVID inquiry, because I think the more that comes out, the more that becomes a thing. Yeah, of course, yeah, what happens in Bucharest stays in Bucharest. Oh. But yeah, certainly the COVID inquiry, when that, I think, probably kicks off, certainly even to more higher gear in a couple of weeks' time, that'll be even more interesting. Oh. Hang on. Cows in the bushes. So yeah, the more that kicks off into high gear, I think the more certainly the Tories are going to be spooked by that. And I think that's partially the reason why they're trying to sort of limit access to sort of Boris's WhatsApp conversations, his diaries, because we all know there is that continuing rumour to which, we've only really had Dominic Cummings come out and say that he said it. Of course, that's the infamous, let the bodies pile high comment. Now, Cummings said that he would swear that that's what Boris said. Chthonic, is it Saturday already? Well, ahoy to you, Chthonic. Like I say, no, I'm... just walking through a load of flies there. Nope. Ah. There we go. Better. So, yeah, I think the more that they're going to want to try and damage limitation on this as much as possible, because I think they highly suspect that, well, Boris did maybe say a lot of stuff. Pretty Bird, greetings to you. Because that seems to be the, I think, the worry for many of the Tories as well. So that's one of the big things. That's one of the big things that we've got to watch out for, because it is very likely when we start getting, well, they're in the I think they're still in the information gathering stage, and I think it's very soon they're going to start interviewing people, and oh my. When they start interviewing people and we start to see those hearings, I think it's going to be one revelation after another, I think. And I think they know it. That's why Johnson was so, so gung-ho, certainly at the time as well, about trying to at least, shall we say, pause the COVID inquiry, because he always said, oh no, it's not time yet, it's not time for a full inquiry yet. Thank you very much, Eric Pagan. The Tory Civil War seems to be fermenting nicely. Oh, it absolutely is. Oh, it absolutely is. Like I say, it's just, when does it all kick off? And I said I'm waiting for that trigger. But the COVID inquiry, I think when that comes out, well, if you thought the Boris inquiry into Partygate was was spectacular, then wait until we get into the COVID inquiry, because I think there's going to be some amazing revelations come out from that. And I think a lot of people have also really said as well, and I sort of do agree with them on this, that you had not Alistair Campbell, who's the last Labour health minister? I can't remember his name. I can see his face. I can see his face. Was it Darling? I can't remember now. But he came out and said, oh yeah, the World Health Organization has said, there's us and France who are like the most prepared for any potential pandemic. And then of course along come the Conservative government. And I think certainly questions should be asked in any sort of inquiry to certainly Cameron and Osborne, You know, did your defunding of, you know, the NHS, other various programs, did that contribute to the impact of COVID? And I think that's certainly an area of question, and who should also be questioned about their role they played in the pandemic, even though they might not have been, well, in power at the time. Then it's yeah, it becomes very, very interesting, because I think we've got to acknowledge that, you know, austerity did play a big fact in our lack of pandemic response. Andy Burnham, thank you. Under Gordon Brown, right? Alright, so, because I think it was, yes, I think it was him. Or was it someone else? I can't remember now. I seem to remember him having like grey hair and glasses, but I don't think that was Andy Burnham. I don't know, I'll have to find it. I'll have to find it and see. Have to have a look and see. But yeah, Alistair Darling, that was it. That was the map. That was the one I'm thinking of. At least I think it was Alistair Darling. Again, I'm not really sure now. Like I say, someone did come out shortly before and said, you know, the WTO basically says, you know, you and France, best countries prepared for any potential pandemic. And you're like, well, how can we go from that to, well, what actually happened? So this is something that needs, I think, a lot of deep questions asking, and a lot of you know, trying to find out what went on. So it's very, very interesting that Johnson is trying to block legally, by mind, he's trying to legally block the you know, his diaries and WhatsApp messages from being used as evidence. Bakura, back from Bucharest, and you're back from Comic-Con. Well, welcome back. Oh. But yes, the COVID inquiry, that's going to be, I think that's going to be pretty explosive. And I think the Tories know it, and it's another reason, I think, why they're trying to already try to engage in some pre-damage limitation. Because you may remember, cold or hay fever, you're sniffling now. It's probably like conference cold. Oh. So, wouldn't surprise me. Oh, so where were we? Yes, let's wrap up the COVID inquiry conversation. So yes, COVID inquiry investigation, I think going to be explosive. The Tories know it, especially with the fact that, again, it's not that too long ago, you had many of the Tories going, oh, this isn't, you know, necessary. All this stuff we did, you know, wasn't necessary. You may remember, I think the quote, I think it was from John Redwood, who said that, you know, Rishi Sunak is proving that, you know, socialism works. So there were a lot of very angry Tories that didn't want to go into lockdown, heavily pushing against, of course, the idea of lockdown measures, the furlough stuff, all kinds of stuff. So I have to wonder if all that and probably more will come out again. It would not shock me, Because you may remember, another thing they were saying was, oh, look at Sweden. Of course, we've had this conversation many times before. You know, with them saying, you know, why Sweden was able to avoid going into lockdown for so long was especially due to the fact that was especially due to the fact that they had a very, very big, you know, social safety net, which allowed them to, at least for a small while, some more ponies. Like I say, it allowed them, at least for a small while, to you know, to not go into lockdown. But eventually Sweden did go into lockdown. That's obviously, of course, the one thing that they conveniently forget to mention, of course. But it's the exact same people who, well, were saying that Brexit was a good idea. Not surprisingly, of course. And that, well, we should continue, you know, not locking down, not going into furlough, not doing all this, you know, stuff that would have, you know, helped us even more. The dithering and delaying, that will be one aspect I think that will be looked at, you know. Well, we had all the experts going, no, you need to go into lockdown now, and, you know, there was, I think, a delay of about a week. There's so much stuff I think that's going to come out from this inquiry, so much stuff. I think even they know it. So you can already see many Tories, I think, bracing for when we get to see the official oral evidence of the COVID inquiry, because, oh boy. And then we'll obviously get the full report of the COVID inquiry, and oh boy. I don't think that's going to spare anyone from it. Because it's a public right of way. Bucharest. I say technically this is a sort of a big area where we can sort of walk, so yes, it's technically sort of someone else's land, but unless they've specifically, you know, cordoned it off and said, no, you're not allowed to go down here, then well, here I am. Like I say, especially on this one, this is a public footpath I'm on right now, so I can't exactly say anything about that. Oh. But yes, interesting times. Interesting times indeed when that's going to happen, when that's going to kick off. And then, of course, as one agri-pagan has said, there is now the continuing fermenting Tory civil war. Oh, Maggie Pie, enjoy your stay in the civilised world? Yes, I did. I say Bucharest was very nice, very good. Definitely a place I want to try and get back to if I can in the future. Oh. So, before I left, I made a video saying, yeah, it doesn't matter about all these revelations that's come out about Suella Braverman, because I believe there's something else that's come out as well while I was away, questioning her impartiality about choosing Rwanda as like one of the places that she was going to send you know, one of the places that she was going to send that she was going to send sort of people to and from. So I know that's come out very recently. She's going to be, sent to the, sent to join the queue, shall we say, of the ethics committee. Whether or not Sunak will actually get rid of her is still a big question, because you will have, you will essentially have Rishi Sunak once again showing just how weak of a prime minister really is. Because you had Braverman, obviously at the NatCon conference, come out and go, hey, look, I'm going to be leader in waiting. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say, I am leader in waiting. I am the next one up. And of course, well, it says a lot about Sunak, the fact that he can't. Morning. It says a lot about the fact that he can't do anything. The fact that she's publicly gone out and said, I am his successor. And then, of course, you've had Liz Truss, who's gone out and set her own policy regarding Thailand as well, before the week I went as well. It just goes to show you what I've said from the very beginning. Sunak has no spine. And I think even when the reporting back from the sort of select committee comes back about her activities, I don't think Sunak will get rid of her. I really don't. I think he's absolutely I think they are absolutely he already has, to be honest, enough ammo to get rid of her. And that's the thing. Any other prime minister, and I think they would have been gone like that. I really do. But and that's the other thing I want to cover as well. Some of the stuff that was said at the NatCon conference, because some of the stuff that was said there was was very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Yeah, exactly. If he had a spine, he never brought her into the cabinet. But as we all know, he did not get to choose his cabinet. He should have said, look, it's your side of the party that has completely fluffed up the economy. How can I bring one of you guys into my cabinet and be seen as trying to sort anything? And yet we've already got some examples, from what we know, of a fight going on about immigration levels within the cabinet, because, as has been said before, many a time, we need immigration in the UK. We're having huge areas still of where there aren't enough people to fill jobs. Farming being one of the key ones. And I did see the pictures of Rishi Sunak going to visit a bunch of farmers as a big PR stunt, to say how well farmers are doing after Brexit. And to be honest, I very, very much doubt you could find any farmer out there who's saying they are doing better post-Brexit. It's also funny when you've got all those trade deals that have gone through, which will hugely affect British farmers, hugely affect them. And yet, you've got Grant Shapps, who is fomenting a potential rebellion. You know, like I say, I'm keeping an eye on him. Of course, former minister in charge of sort of DEFRA and farming. He was like, well, you look, this trade deal with Canada and Mexico destroys UK farming even more so. And, you know, MPs should have the right to scrutinise, of course, what went on. And you may remember, of course, the Tories deciding that, or at least passing a bill that they didn't need to scrutinise trade deals and bills. I think Caroline Lucas let them have it. That, you know, this was all meant to be about, you know, parliamentary sovereignty. And yet they passed a bill saying, well, we don't want to scrutinise too much of these trade deals. Hence why, you know, like I say, hence why we got the, you know, Pacific Partnership. And that opens up a very interesting can of worms, because as we've said before, if we, or at least any future government, now wanted to sort of leave the Pacific Partnership, because we only have to give 6 months notice, and then rejoin the Single Market and Customs Union, you don't need a referendum. They've set a very interesting precedent, or at least Braverman and Badenoch and Truss have set a very interesting precedent that you don't need. Not only do you not need parliamentary approval to join trade blocs, you don't even technically need a referendum. So, yeah, it becomes very, very interesting. And of course, we've had more news. I think it was the Financial Times did a big poll about Brexit regret, and once again, it's tracking in the same direction. People are regretting their choice for Brexit because, again, they were sold a completely false bill of goods. And this comes on to something we're probably going to have a further talk about probably during the week as well. Obviously Farage came out and said, oh well, Brexit failed, but I think he's now sort of realised that that was maybe a bad move to say. He seems to have come out now and said, oh no, what I was really saying was the Tories have failed us on Brexit. But no. We have Farage on video saying that Brexit has failed. I mean, you can say, oh, but no, you had to sort of play more into the sort of the context. No, that's Farage, one of the big, you know, bad boys of Brexit that they were so proud to accept that moniker of at the time. And yet now, yeah, interesting times ahead, certainly for Farage. Obviously threatening yet another political comeback. Honestly, at the moment, I feel like whenever we see Farage like threatening a political comeback, it's like the scene in Willy Wonka, where you've got Mike TV about to jump on the transport and he's just there going, no, wait, stop, don't, come back. It just really feels like that. It really does. But what would be Farage's chances? If he can, or at least his hope is, he can somehow foment the anger and the failure of Brexit, but he was one of the people who were doing it. you know, was promoting all that stuff. And yet, all I can say is I think we are coming very close to the point where more and more people, at least more and more MPs, certainly will be wanting to question Brexit, or at least looking at sort of the state of the country and going, well, actually, Brexit's a lot to claim for this. You know, you want to look at food inflation, and of course they blame a lot of it on sort of the Russia-Ukraine war. And yes, there is some parts to be blamed for that, but here's the thing, not all of our food comes from those two countries. Most of our food comes from Europe. And yet, as we said at the time, when you've got about 40, I think it was something, what was it, 40 to 45% of our food imports come from Europe, when you are planning to potentially even this October, which I'm still very skeptical about whether they'll actually do it or not, of bringing those checks, which will bring in even more red tape and cause even more problems for food importers. It's yeah, we'll see, but I am very, very skeptical. I am very skeptical that they will bring in those checks. I don't think they will. I really do not think that they will bring in those checks. Because you had Jacob Rees-Mogg, who was sat there just last year saying, well, we're not going to bring these checks yet because, well, it would cause a bit too much chaos. So, whether they will bring these checks in or not, it remains to be seen. But it would not shock me if they suddenly went, oh no, we're going to pull it back a year. Again. Loki's children, good morning to you. Okay, so if Boris and co had that kind of dirt on Sunak, Boris would have deployed it. Boris would have absolutely deployed it during the leadership election. Because what better way to dish the dirt on Rishi and secure your way back into being Prime Minister when, you know, I think that if he did have something on Rishi, it would have been done there and then. Boris wouldn't have sat on it. It would have been used then and there, and it would have been used to take out Rishi so that Boris could secure his place back into being Prime Minister. There's no conspiracy theory about it. It's just Sunak is just such a weak leader. There's no theory about it. He's a weak leader, and he is surrounded by people who are just absolutely incompetent at their jobs, who don't really have, shall we say, the necessary experience and able to do their jobs. And yet, he daren't start, well, trying to actually get people into place who have the talent. Because if you look at a lot of sort of the conservative home posts and things like that, they've been saying, well, look, there are other people sat on like the back benches who want to step up, who are annoyed that so much of this stuff is being done wrong, and yet they can't because they had the wrong position on Brexit. So, or they left the party because of Brexit. So, You've just got a party that is just full of no-hopers. And the thing is, you've got an absolute leader who is just so weak when even he's given the opportunity to get rid of someone like BowlerHatMan, he just don't do it. Because he's just so weak and terrified. And we've seen this before. It's been the hallmark of his premiership. So, yeah. So, anyway, yes, I am back from Bucharest. And yes, I will be once again resuming making videos. So, watch out for those coming out later on today. And of course, as always, we will see you next time for the Good Morning Walk on Saturday. Oh, dear me. And hopefully I'll be able to shift this cough a lot quicker. But as always, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.